Hello and welcome back to Chaotic Minds. As always, it's Winged.
And a midget.
And this is take 2.
Yeah.
Because take 1, I did not have your mic plugged in.
So apparently he was talking to the ether.
Something like, I'm always talking to the ether. Anyways, so we bumped up our Reddit stories to this week. Because
For the most part.
There's
one thing I have to lead with, and I'll do all that in a minute.
Yes.
Because I'm going to start it by asking a question.
Because if you haven't heard, or you forgot in the week that it's been since the last episode, next week we're doing conspiracy theories. I've had a couple people ask me like, hey, you've mentioned conspiracy theories. When are you going to do an episode? Well, hey, that's next week.
Conspiracy theories creep me out. They just, what comes out of people's mouths. It's like, did they think about it before they said it?
Well, it's not even that. I mean, because there are some conspiracy theories that are so, like, in-depth.
I mean, one that I'd like to talk about is the grassy knoll.
We'll talk about, during this week, we'll talk to see if that would be something that we could.
Be kind of cool.
Anyway, there was already a movie about this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my dad used to love watching that movie. Anyways, so we're doing our Reddit episode now. You're listening to it. Hello. However, beforehand, you have a question. What is your question?
What is the most disgusting or asinine thing you could think of somebody doing on a flight?
On a flight?
Yes.
Asinine would be something like, I mean, I've seen it a few times, showing up to the flight either tossed or mostly there, and then there are some flights that take longer, and they continue their drinking tour until they get drunk on the plane, and then disgusting is I've actually seen somebody who was so drunk that they threw up on the plane, not in the bathroom, but on the person next to them, and then across the aisle.
Yeah, that's
disgusting. Because they were in the middle seat by the window.
Ew.
And I was like 4 or 5 rows back. So
Thank the Lord.
I caught all the smell.
Yeah. Speaking of smell.
Why? Why do you ask these questions?
Because.
Why must you make me remember these wretched times?
Okay, so I'm going to read you a headline. It says, EasyJet flight is canceled after someone fouls up the place amid delays. Absolute chaos, says passenger.
What? Hold up, real quick. Who the fuck is Easy? What is it? EasyJet?
Yeah, it's a newer airline, I'm assuming.
Okay.
I don't know much about that airline.
Because
typically we take like Delta.
I've taken United a lot. When I was younger, we took Delta a lot when me and my grandparents would fly anywhere.
Yeah.
Because they were Delta whatever members.
But the Diamond members, whatever it's called.
No, they weren't Diamond. We weren't in first class.
Anyway, so this passenger thought it was a good idea to go to the bathroom when they got on the plane, which, okay, sometimes you don't have to go in the terminal, or the lines are just really long. I get that.
I have. There's been a few times that I've had to go to the bathroom in the terminal, and I'm like, I have to find another place, and I found like some out the way. Granted, it was quite a hike back. Bathroom to use.
Yeah. But this passenger decided, okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom when I get on the plane, which is all well and dandy.
Ish.
Except for he pooped on the bathroom floor, not in the toilet.
How do you miss that?
That was my question.
Like, how do you miss that?
Like, and it wasn't a small amount from what I'm understanding and what I'm reading. It's like...
Was it liquid?
And it does not say that, but it says
God.
Passengers to London apparently experienced a day of travel that went from bad to worse after someone defecated on the bathroom floor, which resulted in the cancellation of the entire flight. Basically, then even though it wasn't their fault, the airline had to not only refund everybody, but they rebooked them on later flights and paid for their hotel if there wasn't a flight.
Well, I mean, that is typical airline
behavior. Yes.
Behavior, especially if there's like such a delay that people are going to miss either connecting flights or, they're going to be stuck in an area for X amount of time because they can't find a flight. That does make sense. Like that is SOP for the airlines.
So basically what happened is they were having troubles on the initial plane, so they were switching to a different plane. It was a smaller plane,
Puddle
and
jumper.
it wasn't really that much smaller, but they had to like reflight like 25 to 30 passengers or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And they were offering them the flight change plus a $500 voucher, and
they were already
you know,
offering them
they were
something.
already offering. So some people chose, okay, yeah, cool. We'll stay here. We'll take a later flight, free $500. Hey, you offer me $500 to take a later flight, and you're making all the arrangements and taking care of everything. Cool.
Yeah,
whatever.
I don't have to deal with it. Dope.
Exactly. But so that's about $608 because it was in London. It was pounds.
Okay.
Okay. So it was absolute chaos apparently. But after some passengers took that offer, then it was like everybody was arguing, "Oh, I don't want to take it. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this." And so 10 passengers ended up being removed from the flight.
Oh.
And then they started putting because it was full and everybody's luggage wouldn't that was on the flight wouldn't fit below, they had to put it onto another flight that was going to the same airport.
Okay.
Not a problem. Explain to me what's going on. Cool. I'm going to be chill with that. You know, it's not a big deal.
Well, I mean, and that's like standard. Once again, it goes back to standards. Like with planes, there's a few times that when I flew with my grandparents, or even when I was an adult and I flew somewhere, like I used to carry my sea bag around, which for those of you who don't know, giant like satchel duffel bag. But there were times like I had my backpack in the overhead compartment, and my sea bag wasn't gonna fit. So they came up to me. They're like, "Hey, by the way, we have another flight coming in 20-30 minutes after you land, and that's gonna be our plane. We have to put your bag on that plane so that way everything can fit, and we have enough weight, or we're not over encumbered." I'm like, "Oh yeah, dope, cool." They're like, we're even willing to give you money, and I'm like, "This is just you doing your job. I mean, I'll take the money, but you don't have to."
So after everything settled down and they were getting ready to depart, there was a noticeable odor, and then they were already starting to pull away from the gate.
Oh, okay.
And then passengers towards the back, where the bathroom is on that flight, started complaining about a smell. Well, somebody discovered that there was a deuce on the bathroom floor in front of the toilet. Like, they just dropped their pants inside the bathroom, and those bathrooms aren't that big to begin with. So how the hell did you manage that?
It goes back to my original question. How the fuck you miss?
That's my point. There was no poop anywhere else but the floor.
Like, the only thing I could think of, because I've been inside airplane bathroom.
Yeah.
They stuck their ass in, and that's it. They stuck just their ass in.
Yeah, and that would be noticeable.
Well, I mean, it depends on how many people are on there. When you get on a plane, your first thought is, I need to find some place to put my overhead, and then I have to find my seat. Meanwhile, dude who got on first is all the way in the back, looking like he's like looking for something or whatever, but in reality he's taking a dookie on the floor.
Yeah, and that's the thing I don't get. Like, really, why?
People be assholes.
And it's just like, and then people are bitching because the flight had to pull back to the gate and it got delayed overnight anyway. So those people that took ended up taking the vouchers or ended up getting removed and placed onto a different flight, they got to take off that night. And these passengers who were supposed to take off because of one idiot decided, then, now we're stuck here till the morning. And it's just like, really, guys? Come on.
People be assholes.
Like, seriously, don't be a dick.
Speaking of assholes, I have a story for you.
Ooh.
So, once again, for those of you who are unaware, this is coming from r/Am I the Asshole. Pretty much for those of you who may not have heard this, Am I the Asshole is a catharsis for the frustrated moral philosopher in all of us, and a place to finally find out if you are in the wrong about an argument that's bothering you. Like, that's what you do. You just come on here and you vent, and people say, "Hey, yeah, you're the asshole." No, you're not the asshole. You were in the right. You're both kind of the asshole. Like that's how it goes. So this one is, am I the asshole for throwing my friend's girlfriend out of my house? I, 35 female, have been friends with Alex and Adam, twins, 35 male, since our moms were pregnant with us. Literally grew up together, including them being only 3 days older than I am. Alex got engaged several months ago, and the wedding is the weekend before Halloween. I love his fiancée, Kelly, 30 female. She's a beautiful human. Adam, the other twin, started dating a girl last week, Jordan, 28 female. Jordan is the definition of spoiled brat, only child who has never been told no, and quite obnoxious about daddy's money. Alex and Kelly have their wedding planned already, and they're just waiting for the day to arrive. Ever since Jordan came into the picture, she's been trying to insert herself into the wedding. The OP is currently 6 months pregnant with my third and final kid. My other two littles will be ring bearers, and my husband and I are both in the wedding party.
Hold up. Pause for a second. He's only been dating this chick for a week?
A few weeks.
Excuse me? You're not interrupting my wedding.
Well, it's not even her wedding. It's her best friend, like childhood friend.
I know, but I would be like, no.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll get into that here in a second. Jordan has apparently pulled Kelly aside more than a few times, asking to replace me as a bridesmaid so I don't ruin the aesthetic, quote unquote, of the wedding. Kelly declines every time because we're basically family at this point. Kelly has told me each time she has done this and spoken to both Adam and Alex. Alex, as her fiancé, has taken her side, but Adam is staying neutral at best, avoidant at worst. My husband and I had both couples over last night for a chill dinner. Jordan, immediately upon seeing me, said I looked like a beached whale. So 6 months pregnant, not exactly small, but I'm size 6 when I'm not pregnant. I was livid. I told her at some point my belly would go away, but she was stuck with her ugly personality and kicked her out of my house. Kelly, Alex, and my husband all think I was within my right to throw her out, even if what I said wasn't exactly nice. Jordan did some more name-calling and yelling before dragging Adam out by the arm of the house. I told him he could stay if he wanted, and she called me a boyfriend-stealing bitch. Doesn't make sense, but okay. Today, Adam texted me saying I took a low blow and needed to apologize for being an asshole to Jordan. I don't feel like apologizing, but I am curious, was I out of line? So as the only person,
but hell no, you are not out of line.
As the only person between the two of us who has ever been pregnant, for obvious reasons.
You're pregnant, you got a baby elephant.
No.
I like its trunk.
Midget.
What?
Anyways. Here's my thing.
Okay.
I will, do I think she's in the wrong? No. Absolutely not. Like, you come over to my house and then insult me? No, you're getting the fuck out. I did that with your brother. He came over. He was going to stay a couple of nights. And the first night went ahead and said something to you about, one, how I looked, and two, the state of a bathroom after I had to use it because I hadn't gone to the bathroom all day. Now, granted, it wasn't like trashed or anything, but there was an odor. I had lit a candle, and I'd even sprayed some Febreze to alleviate that.
Just to be clear, he sprayed the Febreze first. He did not spray Febreze near a lit candle. He's not an idiot. Most of the time.
Sure. About that. Seriously. About that. Fire.
Sorry, he is an asshole and he is an idiot.
Yep, I sure should am. But no, your brother went ahead and said something. I'm like, cool. You can leave now. What? It's like midnight. Yep.
And he stole my tablet that day. Son of a bitch.
Yep.
My Samsung Galaxy tablet.
It is
expensive.
midnight. get the fuck out of my house. And he tried squaring up with me, and I'm just like, go ahead. You're in my house. I am having you removed. Now, whether it's by me, whether it's by of your own volition, or whether it's by the police after I knock your bitch ass out, you're leaving. And he left after stealing your tablet, and I think complaining and threatening you, which made it even better.
Yeah, because he threatened to call social services and yada, yada, yada.
Well,
Same
no,
shit,
he
different
threatened
day,
you
rinse,
physically,
lather,
too.
and repeat. Yeah.
He threatened you physically, too. Anyways, she's totally in the right with this. OP is totally in the right. Like,
yeah. First of all, they're basically family. The girl doesn't mind that she's pregnant. She's happy for her.
I mean, add into the fact
Ruin
that
the
both of the
aesthetic.
twins,
Your ugly ass is gonna ruin the aesthetic of your own wedding. Shut the fuck up.
both of the twins have grown up beside this girl, beside OP. They are a few days older than what she is, right? That is family. I'm sorry.
Blood doesn't make family. Family is family.
And Alex and Kelly have been together for long enough, like several months, and who knows what the fuck several months actually is. You know, but they've been together long enough, and Kelly has been around OP for a long enough time to make the decision herself on whether or not she wants her in there, knowing that she was pregnant. And then this bitch comes in like, oh, I'm dating the twin's brother. You know, I'm dating the other twin, and we've been together for a couple of weeks, so I should have a say in things. Fuck you, bitch. Get the fuck out.
Like, seriously. There's audacity, and then there's this bitch. Like,
and then the fact that this twin who's dating this bitch is all like, you need to apologize. Excuse the fuck out of me. Pussy ain't that good.
It was it the other twin, or was it another brother?
No, it was the twin. It was so Jordan was dating Adam, or is dating Adam. I don't know if they still are or not. Adam went ahead and said, Alex is the one who's getting married. Alex is the one getting married. Adam is the one who has the bitchy girlfriend.
Yeah.
Adam then texted OP and was like, you need to apologize.
See,
excuse the fuck out of me.
Here's
no,
the
fuck
thing.
I do not.
Here's the thing, dude. Okay, for one, girl doesn't, the fiance, sister-in-law, basically, doesn't mind that she's pregnant and is keeping her in the wedding.
Yep.
Cool, that's her decision. Mm-hmm. Bitch comes in and tries to insert herself when she's been around for a couple of weeks. Is wrong to begin with. Yeah. 2, how dare you come after a pregnant woman? Like, seriously, do you have, like, no sense of, like, self-preservation? Because let me tell you, when I was pregnant, I was a raging cunt. Like, there is no...
Just when you were pregnant?
Oh, yeah. I'm a bitch now, but there's me as bitch level, and there's me as a raging cunt. Well, when I was pregnant, I was not a nice person, especially if you decided to come up in my space and start shit with me. Well, for her to come in and say that to her, I'm surprised she didn't get knocked the fuck out.
Well, here's my counter to her being like, well, you look like a beach whale. Okay, let's see you carry a child, bitch. Oh, wait, nobody wants to have a child with you. Let's see how in shape you are after
and then
carrying.
And then for the brother, for the boyfriend of this girl, to turn on somebody who is family, who's pretty much family. Yeah. Is like, no. If I was him, I would have been like, you get to step and I'm staying here with my family.
Yep. So I'm looking over some of the comments. Overall opinion, not the asshole. Top comment, fucking love it. Calling you a beach whale wasn't a low blow. Her demanding to replace you wasn't a low blow. There's an asshole here, an apology owed, but you are not the asshole and don't owe her anything. And then somebody responded, you know how it is, Adam wants to stay neutral, but he's got to get laid. Somebody responded to that more like he has to stay neutral because he wants to get laid. He didn't stay neutral, though. He jumped all the way over to being upset at OP for not taking it well when his girlfriend called her a beached whale.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Somebody called me a
sorry,
beach
yeah.
whale when I was pregnant, and he got punched square between the eyes.
Yep. I mean,
Yeah.
I love this comment. I have to read it, and then we're going to move on. Somebody went ahead and said, show Adam the middle finger, and when Jordan gets pregnant, send her a picture of a beached whale. Revenge is best served cold.
Yep, pretty much.
That is fantastic.
I've got one.
Okay, what is yours?
It says, am I the asshole for begging my girlfriend to uphold a sexist tradition just so she can make a good first impression?
I think we've read this one already.
It says, I have a big family. It's incredibly close. We have a big family. This one was just posted like a month or so ago.
Okay.
And we are all incredibly close. We have a big family dinners every few months where we all meet at my great-grandfather's house and eat together. Typically how this works is that the women go cook for the time they're there and the men don't, which I am fully aware is sexist as hell. That being said, I am one of the youngest people in my family and my protests mean literally nothing. Some of those women choose not to cook, however, this is usually met with a level of ostracizing. The women who don't cook are lives and long-term girlfriends. I don't know what they meant by that. So they kind of already have a good family relationship doctored in.
Okay.
When I have seen new partners not cook, it's gone bad, like completely ostracized, not speaking, cattiness, rudeness, etc. This dinner will be in 2 weeks, and my girlfriend was asked if she would attend. Initially, she said yes, which is great. I want for her to meet everyone and for everyone to get used to her being around. But when I explained to her the tradition, she was understandably bothered. I told her that I understood where she was coming from. However, it was best for everyone if she just played along. I told her this isn't a permanent thing, and I am only asking her to do this so she can avoid bad treatment from the rest of the family. This is her first impression, and I don't think it's best if we cause waves. She told me that it's unacceptable and that if she has to do that, she will not be going. I've tried to find a compromise with her on this, but she won't budge, and she's pissed at me. She told me that if I think it's acceptable to make her do this, I'm just as bad as everyone else, where my point is that she needs to make a good first impression. Am I the asshole?
So here's the thing about first impressions. You only get one. However, this is the first time this chick is meeting the family.
Yes.
No.
No.
So here's the thing with my family. I come from a semi-large family. I say semi-large because between all of us, there are 5 kids and 2 adults, 2 parents, right? Add into the fact that my dad has come from a large family. He had, I think, 5 other siblings. So altogether, there were 6 people. Add in my nonna and poppy when they were still around, my grandma and grandpa, and my nanny. You know, we have a large family. And when it came down to like Thanksgiving and whatnot, and everyone would get together, or Christmas, and everyone would get together. Christmas, everybody cooked at their own house and brought stuff over to a singular house. But Thanksgiving, it was typically like my family, my nonna and my poppy. Sometimes my mom had one of her really close friends come down. And like we may had my nanny and my pup at the time when he was still around. They would come over. And there was one time that I brought a girl that I was seeing over. And my parents, she walked into the kitchen because my mom, my nonna, my nanny, my sister, all the women in the house were in the kitchen cooking. And all the men were watching football or having a conversation, yada, yada. The thing is, my girlfriend at the time went in to go help. And my mom looked at my girlfriend and said, "What are you doing?" And my girlfriend's like, "Well, I saw this is where you guys are, so I figured I'd come over and I come in and try to help." She goes, "No, you're a guest." Now, if you're planning on being with my son for longer, and there's a second you're here for, Thanksgiving for next year, then we might ask you, hey, do you mind giving us a hand or whatnot? But you're a guest. This is the first time I'm meeting you, or having you over for a big dinner like this. They met her like twice before. You're not. No, go get out. And she kicked at that time. She kicked my girlfriend out. That's how it's supposed to be. Like, I get in some countries,
And I'll read you some of the comments here in a second.
I get in some countries, like, that is a staple. Like, the men, they work. They bring home they typically are the ones who are working.
They bring home the proverbial bacon.
Yes. They bring home the money in order to buy the food. The women take care of the children and the house and the cooking and going out and getting groceries and stuff like that. And if that is tradition for you, great. That is your tradition. Everybody has tradition. Tradition is nothing more than peer pressure by dead people. Anyways, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. You can't.
You're not wrong.
You can't.
But it's still fucking funny.
You can't tell me I'm wrong. Anyways, however, there in some Asian countries, there's a thing where if you're a guest, you don't do shit. Like,
and that's
kind
of what I adopt.
Like,
it's weird.
You come into someone's house to, like, stay the night or have a meal or whatever. You are not allowed to help. Here's what you're allowed to do. You're allowed to sit right there.
Carry on a conversation. That's
Pretty
sometimes
much.
harder work than the cooking itself.
Like, I've gone home a few times. I've gone home to see my parents, right? And I'm used to my parents being like, hey, you're here. You know, when I was living with them.
Hey, your chore is the dishes.
Yeah.
You know, why aren't the dishes done?
Yeah. Like, you go home, or you come home from, like, I used to come home from work late at night. And my dad might be up or my mom might be up. And they're like, hey, by the way, tomorrow before you go in, you need to get this done and this done and this done. I'm like, cool, dope, whatever. Most times. Sometimes. Not always. Hardly ever. I would be like, cool, dope, whatever. Anyways. But no, like, the couple of times that I've gone home to visit, I've got, after dinner, I tried to help set the table. They're like, no, go. My mom's like, go talk to your dad. And my siblings would go ahead and make, those who were still living at home would help set the table, help get everything going. We'd eat. And then I'd get up and start helping clear the table. And my parents would look at me like, again, what are you doing? I'm helping as what I'm supposed to do? No, you're a guest. But you're my parents. And do you live here? No, not anymore. There you go. Get out.
And that's the thing.
And so, like, I'd go outside, I'd have a smoke, I'd come back in, and I'd sit down, and my dad'd be sitting in the living room with
sleeping a movie.
No, my dad'd be sitting in the living room, my mom would be, in either right, beside him or across the, little couch area from him. And my dad's like, here, and hand me a beer, and it's like, here. And we'd sit there and we would talk while my siblings were doing the chores. Yeah. My sister hated that.
Yeah.
But no, it's just like, this is the first time you meet in a family. No, you shouldn't have to do anything. Is she the asshole in that story? No. Is the boyfriend, is OP the asshole? Yes.
100% yes. And
because he is trying to force her into his tradition.
And his family's tradition.
Exactly. No, you're the asshole you're the fucking asshole, OP.
So there's there's a couple comments that I came across that I kind of chuckled at.
Okay.
And and the general consensus, of course, is that OP is the asshole.
Yeah.
Says, you're the asshole. Why won't my girlfriend abandon her sense of self-respect so that she can establish herself as a subservient woman tool so my sexist family won't mentally and verbally abuse her? She just doesn't get it. And that was by a dude.
Oh, yeah?
And then another guy goes, why is my girlfriend mad that my family expects her to cook for them after inviting her to dinner as a guest? So there's one more that made me
exactly my point.
Exactly. So the part of this one has a caption of the story, which I'll read so that you know where this is coming from. It says, she told me that if I think it's acceptable to make her do this, I'm just as bad as everyone else. While my point is that she needs to make a good first impression. That's the comment that they're commenting this on.
That's what they're referencing.
Yeah. It says, you're the asshole. What about your family making a good first impression on her and not expecting her to be an unpaid cook and servant? That's exactly the point.
Yeah. I mean, when we went out there the last time, right?
Yeah.
I went ahead and my parents started cooking and they're like, hey, get out. And I'm like, no, I'm staying here. Did my parents look at you and be like, well, you need to get into the kitchen too?
No.
No. My mom was like, what are you doing? I remember my mom kicking you out of the kitchen because you were like, I'm going to help Zach. And she's like, no, the fuck you ain't. Sit. We're going to have a talk.
I remember when your mom was cooking something, and then she had to go to the bathroom, and then it was boiling, and I could smell it start to burn. So I went in there and I was stirring it, and then she came out of the bathroom. She's like, "What are you doing?" Stirring this because it smelled like it was gonna burn. If it would have burned, it would have been the guy's fault because they knew that it was cooking in here.
Uh-huh.
I'm just like,
And I poked my head in. What's going on? Why weren't you watching this? Why weren't you watching this? Well, she was closer. I don't care. Why weren't you watching this? Yes, Mom.
Yeah. So I mean, it was.
And then she looked at me.
She's
She's like, "You guess what you get to do now? Go to the store. What am I getting?" She's like, "Drag your father out."
Yeah, and when we went on a girls' trip when you boys were at the house, and I went with Haley and your mom and your sister to the dollar store, and then a couple of other places because we had to get aluminum foil and a couple of other things. And I grabbed a few things for the kids, just to keep them occupied, whatever, some coloring stuff and whatnot. And I went to try to buy it, and then she's like, "No." Like, what the? This is like $40. No.
Yeah.
But it's just like, and then your sister was complaining that she didn't get anything, and she still had to help pay for it. But I got all this stuff for the kids, and I didn't have to pay for anything. What she didn't realize is we went to the grocery store later on and stuck some stuff in your mom's freezer. Surprise! And you remember where you didn't remember where you got that roast? Well, now you do. Surprise! Yep. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, it's just like I had to sneak stuff into the house that I bought for the house because we were there.
Yeah. Because we could not leave my parents empty-handed.
No.
We used up some of their they had to make extra because it was us and the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to make sure that we replaced some of what we used.
Or the when we had the barbecue, and mysteriously there was more soda there, and your dad's like, "I don't remember getting this much soda."
You and I high-fived behind him. My mom looked at me like, gave me that look like, "What are you doing? Why are you high-fiving?" Don't worry about it, Mom. Zach, what did you do?
Oh, your mom knew. Your mom knew that we got the soda.
Oh yeah, my mom's not dumb.
No, she also.
My dad's not dumb either. He knew that we high-fived too.
Oh yeah, he's definitely not dumb or blind, but well, maybe blind. Love you, Dad.
Anyways,
yeah. So that guy's an asshole.
Yep.
Like, seriously, you don't like the fact that this is a tradition in your family? Then break the tradition and tell them all to fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, like the fact that he started off was with saying like, "Hey,
I know this is sexist.
I know this is sexist. I know that this is wrong. However, it's
can you do it just to please them so I don't have to hear it?"
No.
Basically, is what it was.
No, fuck you. Sorry, I'm not doing it.
And there was a comment on there that says, "Why would she want anything to do with your family after you made that comment?"
Exactly. I wouldn't. All right.
Anyway.
So next
last
one for
one.
me. Not last one.
Yes, it's 3.
It is not the last one yet.
3 Reddit stories.
We still have plenty of time.
Yay.
Am I the asshole for
Yes.
throwing away blood-soaked bagels after my girlfriend cut her hand and nearly passed out?
Ew.
My 29 male, his girlfriend, 28 female, surprised me the other morning by going out while I was sleeping and buying bagels, lox, and cream cheese. I can only imagine that it's in Britain because lox.
Yeah.
Although I'm not quite sure what lox are, so I could be wrong. Why don't you look that up while I read this?
Okay.
I began to help with the preparation and slightly poked my hand with the knife while cutting the bagels in half. I went to go put a bandage on my cut when suddenly I heard her scream. I turned around and saw that she had sliced her hand with the same knife I had poked myself with and was bleeding all over the bagels. I rushed over and applied pressure to the wound while trying to hold her upright as she swayed back and forth, nearly passing out from shock. Once I sat her down and dressed the cut, I began cleaning up and throwing away the now blood-soaked bagels. After she noticed I'd thrown them away, she became quite cross with me. Once again, confirming that is British, because who uses cross? Insisting that she still could have eaten them. When I expressed skepticism and disgust, she argued it is more or less the same as sucking on a paper cut. Reddit, am I the asshole? What are locks?
Ew.
What are locks?
They're a strip of brined salmon that you put on bagels and cream cheese.
I hate to say this.
It does not sound good. Don't even say it.
To say this.
Nope, don't even say it. La 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 la.
I want to try it.
It depends on the cream cheese.
Yeah. I mean, like
It
regular
looks like they
cheese.
have dill on this too. Like this
Probably.
picture, it looks like they have a bagel, cream cheese, dill, actual dill,
And these locks.
I'm not sure if that's peppercorns or those are or something else, and
the locks.
purple onions.
Yeah.
Like ew,
So,
that does not look good.
is OP the asshole?
And it's from Israel, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, it may the locks
Origin
may
is
have started-
Israel.
The locks originated in Israel. Do I believe that OP is the asshole? No, I'm sorry. Like, have I cut myself, peeling an apple or cutting up an apple or like potatoes? Sure,
Yeah,
I have. Not gonna deny that.
I've grated my hands when I'm grating cheese.
However, there's a difference between just a poke and just like a spot of blood getting on there and like gashing yourself and just bleeding over bagels. Like, this is not the Catholic Church. This is my blood. This is my body. No, this is bagels and cream cheese, bro. Your girlfriend's the asshole. Not only is she the asshole, but she's also disgusting. Like, have I lost a tooth in the middle of doing something, and like, to prevent me from having to spit all this blood out of my mouth, drank it or, ingested it? Yes. But that's my blood. Same thing with the apple. Have I cut myself, while peeling an apple or cutting an apple? Yes, and I've eaten it, but that's my blood. I'm not going to sit there, and as much as I love you, I'm not drinking your blood. I'm not ingesting your blood.
No.
That's just not happening.
Ew.
And if she cut herself to the point where she's almost passing out from shock, either A, it was just like a small cut, and she is just really sensitive to the sight of blood, or B, she fucked herself up, and that's a lot of blood. I'm not eating those bagels. I like bagels. I like carbs. No, I'm sorry. Well, I'll run back out to the store while you sit your happy ass on my couch, trying not to bleed on my couch, and I'll go out and get replacement bagels and shit.
I would be like, replacement bagels.
We're ordering Einstein. Let's go.
Yeah, right.
But no, OP is not the asshole. Girlfriend, on the other hand,
she creepy asshole.
That's fucking like.
She's one of those that would like do some weird voodoo shit. It sounds like she'd do some weird voodoo shit and do what was it?
The hocus pocusing?
There was a story a long time ago where this guy and his girlfriend were living together, and in order to keep him around, something in her, like, she wasn't from the same country as him, and something from her traditions, from her family, said that if you want to keep the man around, you have to be putting your period blood in
That's
food.
disgusting. We can move past that.
So some of the
comments that are listed here, overall judgment is not the asshole. Comment reads, not the asshole. I mean, if she wants to eat bagels flavored with her own blood, that's on her. But most people would have simply thrown them away and got new ones. Unless you're a vampire, blood does not make good toppings on food. Somebody went ahead and was like, blood bread is real? I'll take things I never wanted to know for $500, Alex.
My comment about it would be, and this is me playing devil's advocate here.
Okay.
It's not about who's the asshole and who's not the asshole, because let's face it, he's not the asshole for this.
Yeah.
But what if it's one of those situations where she grew up really, really poor and they couldn't afford to waste anything?
I mean,
regardless?
I get that. However, I grew up not having a whole lot of money. Like my mom made $20 stretch for an entire week with groceries. There was a couple of times where she burnt something, or like something had gotten messed up. She went ahead and went out and got new, or we just went without.
Yeah, and most of the time for us, it was because I grew up pretty poor, even though I had two parents in the military, and because I was back when they didn't pay military people barely shit.
Yeah.
But like, we would like I was when my mom was overseas or whatever. I was in charge of cooking, and if I burnt something, my dad would make me eat the burnt stuff, and he'd go out and buy something for him and the boys.
Yeah.
Or if I caught it before it got too bad and it didn't taste terrible and I was able to salvage it, I would salvage it. But if I burned something and he couldn't afford to take the boys out, like, he would refuse to eat, or if he did eat, he would find something in the refrigerator or cook himself something else, and he would make us eat the burnt food.
Yeah. A couple other comments. While blood bread is a thing, eating bagels haphazardly covered in dried blood, even your own, is probably not the best health decision. We aren't really built to digest blood to begin with. Anything beyond the small amount you might get from eating a rare steak or nursing a minor cut is liable to upset your digestive tract. Somebody went ahead and commented on that and said, I have the Nordic cookbook. And I'm going to butcher this, and I apologize for anybody who speaks Nordic, Faroese blood bread recipe in it. Basically, baking blood into a bread product and then drying it was one method of preserving protein-rich but liquid food. And then somebody went ahead and said, the difference is that is cooked blood. Yes, you can eat cooked, or more accurately, cured blood. At that point, it's good for you as any red meat, but we have evolved to the point of consumption of essentially raw meat/blood doesn't work. It needs to be cured. And don't start talking about sushi or sashimi. That stuff isn't actually raw. You can cook/cure by chemical reaction without the use of heat. That's what we do with raw, quote-unquote, fish preparations. Somebody contradicted that. Sushi and sashimi are actually raw. They just have to be flash frozen first for commercial sale to destroy parasites. Please don't spread misinformation about Japanese food. Some may be cured depending on the specific preparation, but generally speaking, none of it is cooked or cured unless specified. So in the end, your girlfriend's the asshole. She's creepy as fuck. Like, bro, since we're in spooky season, I can imagine her standing over him in the middle of the night, darkness in their room, with a knife, just being like, one day your blood will be mine, and I will make a smoothie out of it.
One of those weird occult
get
people.
Away
One of those weird occult people that would save his toenail clippings for a Yeah.
All right.
She creepy as fuck, dude. Run away.
Yep.
Fast.
So here's the next one. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend I don't want her to come camping with me? Do you have opinions on the title?
I'm going to reserve my remarks because I like camping.
So the story goes, my girlfriend is a real homebody, and she doesn't really enjoy doing outdoor activities often. So every other week or so, I like to take the weekend to go camping on my own because there are some pretty great views to see where we live. So I usually head out around Saturday morning and drive a few hours out to a campsite and spend the night camping and ride my dirt bike down some trails the next day and come home around 5 or 6 the next day. So Sunday. So this weekend I'm packing my bags to head out for Saturday, and my girlfriend asked me what to do. What do you even do all the way out there? I told her what I do, and she went, that can't be all that you do. That seems so boring. Don't you go to a restaurant or something? I told her, nah, that's really all I do when I head out, and she didn't believe me, so she wanted
You
to tag
eat what
along.
you fish.
She wanted to tag along with me on this weekend's trip. I told her I didn't want her to come with me since I know she won't enjoy herself and be miserable, and also because I like it because it lets me disconnect, and bringing people along with me kind of defeats the purpose. She got sad since she assumed I was only doing it so that I could spend time away from her, which isn't true, and refuses to believe me now. Okay. Do I think he's the asshole? Yes.
Yeah.
Here's my reasoning. Is it a way for him to disconnect? Yeah. Everybody has to have that. Some people do it inside. Like, I know plenty of people who disconnect from reality because they boot up a video game, or they delve into a book, or they just spend hours listening to music and dancing around their apartment or their house like a fool, whatever. Are there ways to, are there many different ways of disconnecting? Absolutely. That's not what makes you the asshole. What makes you the asshole, she's curious about something that you enjoy. She stays inside. She doesn't like going outside. You've said as much.
Yeah, but she wants to go on this trip with you?
She's curious to find out, why are you doing what you're doing? What makes it so great?
Exactly.
And you are telling her pretty much, no, I don't want you to come along. It may not have started off with you wanting to get away from her.
Yeah.
But that's what it eventually turned into. And when she asked if she could come along and you straight up told her no, I can understand why she was like, well, that means that you don't want to you want to get away from me. And even if you're like, no, that's not true, it doesn't matter. You've already cemented that fact into her head because you're refusing to take her along with. If she's a longtime girlfriend, and there are still things, like, even to this day, we've been together for, it's coming up on 10 years.
10 years.
Next year. There are still things that I don't know about you. There are still some things that you don't know about me. There are certain interests that you have that I had no clue about 5 years ago. Just like the same thing with me. Like, you had no idea about my obsession with clocks. At all.
No,
until I went ahead and I got one.
About 5 or 6 years ago.
You're like, oh, you why'd you get that? I really like clocks.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. I just like them. Like, to the point where, like, you were actually helping me look for, like, a mini grandfather clock, because you're like, I mean, that looks cool. Like, I don't like disassembling them. I don't like taking them apart. I like having them around. Like,
and I got you a clock.
Like old school, like tick, tick, tick clocks. Like digital clocks, bore the shit out of me. But the old school ones, some of the artistry and some of the work that goes into them, fucking amazing.
I got you a special clock not too long ago. Granted, it's kind of crummy, but it combines two of the things you really like.
It's
it works.
Not crummy. It works, and it's fantastic. But there are things that I didn't know about you. There are things I didn't know about you until, about 4 or 5 years ago. Like, I knew that you could crochet. I didn't know that you actively enjoyed doing it.
I do, but I got to get new yarn because a lot of this yarn was in storage when they had those mice.
Yep.
Yeah, I got to get new yarn.
I also didn't know that you liked jigsaw puzzles.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I didn't know that until we were poking around on a website. I think it was Critical Role's website. And you saw a couple of the puzzles that they had on there. And you're like, ooh. And you got every single one so far. I think we're still missing like 2 or 3.
2.
But I didn't know that you liked jigsaw puzzles. Will I do a jigsaw puzzle with you? No. Just because I don't find any interest in them. But I know that I found out a couple years ago that you enjoy fishing. And while I may not like it, if you invited me
he
to
enjoys the fruits of labor.
If you were to invite me, hey, I want to go fishing and I want you to come with, I'd be like, sure, yeah, let's go. I'll sit on the bank and drink beer and you can catch all the fish. But the fact that this guy went ahead and said, I don't want you to come along with, because this is me time. I think me time is important. However, it shouldn't be like, you shouldn't prioritize that over your partner. That's just my belief. Can you like stop for a second? We are in the middle of doing something here.
He said puzzles. I've got ADD.
Anyways,
Leave me alone.
No, that can wait.
Okay.
We are having a conversation.
Do I have the Caduceus puzzle?
I believe you do. Anyways,
Then I'm only missing one. Fucker.
I think you do. We'll have to double check later. But like sitting and going ahead and being like, I don't want you to share this with me, is bullshit. Everyone should have their own, me time to do stuff. Like, you have your own me time. I have my own me time. My dad and my mom have their own me time. Do I think that couples should have their own separate time away from each other? Yeah, I do. However, when you prioritize your me time over spending time with your significant other, no, that goes from like being okay to being like, you're a dick, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
So my personal thing is, no, dude, you're the asshole.
Exactly.
Are you going to tell me your opinions, or are you just going to echo yeah and exactly over and over again?
I said he was the asshole.
Explain your reasoning for it.
Pretty much the same thing. Like, she's taking an interest in something that you enjoy doing that she doesn't understand because she's an introvert. If an introvert is curious about something, seriously, what's the harm in letting her come along? Yeah, she might get bored and she might not enjoy herself on doing some of the activities, but she'll enjoy the time with you doing something that you like. So what the hell is the harm? Like, seriously.
Yeah.
What's stuck up your ass, and what exactly are you doing on those trips that you want to keep from her?
Yeah.
That's what's going through her head.
Exactly.
Why am I not worth spending time with on doing something that you like?
Yep. So some of the comments, first one, this is about sending a message. Bring her along for one trip. Tell her ahead of time that she can come with you, but you're not going to change your routine at all, and show her your standard camping trip. Do exactly what you do regardless of if she complains and wants to do something else. If she complains, explain that you understand this is not what she enjoys, but you love it very much. You are not asking her to change her life to suit your ways, but she needs to understand. She needs to be understanding of your hobbies and interests, not the asshole, as long as you turn this into a learning experience for her. Somebody went ahead and said this, OP, bring her. Let her see for herself. Make sure she has warm stuff to be comfortable and good shoes and things, a book she's been wanting to read, crochet project, whatever to occupy her time. It might be good to introduce her to the quiet and see what she thinks of it. Somebody went ahead and commented on that. Yes, the quiet of the dirt bike's roar is really something everyone should try to enjoy. They're saying that as long as OP explains, like, hey, this is the reason, then, you wouldn't be the asshole. However, if you just leave it as is, then no, you are going to be the asshole.
Yeah.
It's just like that there's confliction. All right, I think we have enough time. We do for one last one.
Dun, dun, dun.
Am I the asshole for purposely tripping over a suitcase and guilt-tripping my husband?
Yes.
Just going off the title alone, absolutely. That is manipulation in its finest, and I have a hot button for that.
Yeah.
Anyways, so, I, female 32, am currently 8 months pregnant with our first, and I'm trying to do everything I can to make sure the house is ready. This started with little spring cleaning jobs, but has developed into a full-blown deep clean of everything. One of the things I've decluttered recently was mine and my husband, 33, their closet. I donated everything we don't wear and have folded and put away everything we don't need during winter. Some of this clothing has gone into a suitcase, which is currently sitting on our bedroom floor because it is too heavy for me to lift and put away, which I understand being 8 months pregnant. I have asked my husband to please help me more than once, but he's either too tired after finishing work or he says it slips his mind. All in all, the suitcase is currently looking like a permanent installation in our bedroom. He has at least shifted it out of the main walkway in the interim. Last night, I woke up to go to the bathroom and ended up tripping over the suitcase as I fumbled in the dark. I do obviously know where it is after it's been there for so long, but I was half asleep and trying to avoid our sleeping pup. While the fall wasn't bad, I did wake my husband in the process. My husband was initially quite worried, especially since our midwife told us that any fall needed a trip to the hospital. But once he realized it was because of the suitcase, he became quite upset. He said that there was no way I could have tripped over the suitcase unintentionally as he has moved it out of the walkway and I had done it to prove a point, quote unquote. He said he could not believe that I would behave so passive-aggressively and put our baby's life at risk rather than just asking him again, and that forgetting to move the case is not a crime. The more I tried to explain that I was trying to avoid waking him and tripping over the dog, the more he said that these were just convenient excuses to make him look lazy and unhelpful around the house. He said I was punishing him for not getting to the suitcase sooner and that, if anything, I should have had a plan to deal with it from the beginning, as it was me who had wanted to sort out the closet in the first place. My husband was fired up again after I mentioned to the midwife this morning that I had tripped over a suitcase, and he said I could have just told her that I had fallen over the dog or my shoelaces. He said he had made his feelings clear during the night when we had our discussion, and I was rubbing salt in the wounds now. I spoke to my mom, 61 female, about it after we got home from the midwife because I wanted to vent, and she surprisingly took his side and said I was letting my emotions get the best of me. My mom said I should have been more graceful bringing it up in front of the midwife, although I will say that I never said anything about asking him to move it. And she said that the situation has probably made my husband feel quite bad about himself, which is why it has turned into a big drama, quote unquote. So, after hearing the story, does your opinion stay the same or does it change?
It stays the same because she explains what happened. It's not like she looked at the suitcase and tripped over it.
What you had originally said was the OP was the asshole. Is that opinion the same or has it flipped? And she's saying
who's the
not
OP?
the asshole. The OP is the pregnant one. The one who is doing all this and asked the husband to move it.
No, she's not the asshole.
Okay, so you're swapping what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's not like she did it on purpose. It was the middle of the night. She was avoiding tripping over a dog. And she knew where it was, but in the dark, sometimes you can't tell exactly where you're placing your feet.
Especially half asleep.
And pregnant and trying to get over a dog and not trying to step on the dog.
And not trying to wake up the husband.
Exactly. And she goes and she trips and falls, whatnot. But it's just like, and then she also said that she never mentioned that he didn't move the suitcase and that's why she tripped over it at the midwife's office. She said she tripped over a suitcase, which was the truth. She didn't say why the suitcase was there, where the suitcase was at, none of that. So, no, she's not an asshole. It's not like she actively looked at the suitcase and said, I'm going to make myself fall. It could kill my kid, but who cares?
Yeah. I will agree with you. I don't think she's the asshole. I will flop what I said. Because, once again, it turns into like one of these things where it's like, this is marriage. And having a kid is having a partnership. And you and I have had this discussion many times about you and I are partners in this. And we need to help each other out and work together to get stuff done. Like you asked me here recently if on the days that I have off, if I'd be willing to cook at least one of those days, which I've agreed to.
Yeah.
You know. Do I think she's the asshole? No. Do I think the husband is the asshole? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Do I think
she can't lift it.
Do I think OP's mom is the asshole?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I know this for me because for the most part, I let a lot of things slide. You know, we have a basket full of clothes that we still have yet to fold and put away.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
It's there.
It's our work clothes.
Yeah, mostly our work clothes. You know, but there are times where I will get into a cleaning frenzy and I will want everything cleaned to an extent, like to the best that we can do. Like,
Yeah.
I'll run the vacuum, I'll take the broom, and I'll sweep. While I'm doing that, I'm directing children and be like, hey, I need you to wipe this wall down and clean this. Or, hey, we need to, somebody else sweep this area. Or, we need to get all this trash picked up and sorted out and all that. And you just get into a groove.
Yeah.
I mean, we went through when we cleaned out our closet.
It's
Which,
the
by the
attention
way-
deficit cleaning disorder.
Which, by the way, we have to redo again at some point.
Yeah.
We put stuff in other bags just to consolidate. So for her to go ahead and be like, I took all of my winter clothes, the winter clothes that we were not using and put them in a suitcase. I can understand that. But for him to then go ahead and be like, well, you should have had a plan for what to do with it afterwards. Excuse the fuck out of me.
She was doing
asked you
things
for
that she
help.
probably wasn't supposed to be doing
Oh,
8
yeah.
months pregnant.
Add into the fact that this is caused by her being pregnant, thanks to you, bro.
It takes 2 to tango on that one.
And she is trying to make sure that y'all's house is ready to go for a baby.
Yep.
Cleaned up, organized, so that way everything is right where it needs to be at. And you don't have to worry about the child getting into something that they're not supposed to.
Or having to worry about it after the baby gets there.
Exactly.
And it's just that much harder.
But then for you to go ahead and be like, well, you should have thought of this beforehand. Maybe I should have rethought having you as my husband and the father of my child.
Yeah.
Anyways, so some of the comments. Overall thing is not the asshole. Somebody said, not the asshole. It sounds like he was being lazy about it, and now he's feeling guilty, so he's lashing out at you to compensate. They then asked how long the suitcase has been there, and OP responded, suitcase has probably been on the floor 3 to 4 weeks. 3 to 4, hang on. 3 to 4 weeks. 3 to 4 fucking weeks. Are you...
And he keeps spacing it?
I'm sorry.
No.
You have days off, bro. Move it on your day off. How many times have you asked me, like, hey, on your day off, I need you to take this and move it over here?
Yeah.
And I've done that.
You have 2 days off in a row, and there are sometimes you forget on Monday, and you'll do it on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Or I'll have to remind you, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Just like, and it's vice versa. It's not just one-sided. Like, there are things that I typically do on the regular. Like, I'll go by the local gas station and grab 3 Monsters in the morning, come home. There are days where I'm just dead, and I'll walk in the house, and then you'll wake up and be like, did you give me a Monster? No, I spaced. Like, I literally got off.
Do I jump down your throat about it?
No.
Like, no. I can get some myself.
You're like, I'll get some at work. They still have some up in the cafeteria.
Or I'll swing by, like, 7-Eleven beforehand. Whatever. Yeah. There's no excuse for that shit. Like, a couple of days, like 2 or 3 days, sure. I can understand.
Yeah.
3 to 4 weeks?
Yeah, that's a little excessive, dude. Get off your lazy ass.
Yeah.
She's creating a whole ass human. She's not supposed to be doing certain things, and you know this.
Yep. So another comment, not the original commenter, but I just wanted to chime in because I agree with her assessment. Your husband knows he screwed up. Maybe not consciously, but he's being hella defensive, which tells me that somewhere in his subconscious, or they say unconscious, but subconscious, he know it was his fault. I'm a psychologist, and I love working with defenses love working with defenses, so I see this a lot. There was probably a moment where you first tripped over the suitcase and he thought that the baby could have died and that would have been his fault. That's an incredibly painful belief to hold, and so his unconscious defenses kicked in and turned it around on you. The fact that he wanted you to lie to the midwife further supports this. If he believed he didn't do anything wrong, then why would he want you to lie? To be clear, this is an educated guess. I don't know for certain what was going on in your husband's head. But regardless, him accusing you of intentionally putting your baby in harm's way in order to prove a point makes him the asshole. Who assumes that about their partner? Ask him if he genuinely thinks so little of you that you would risk killing your baby in order to prove a point. This may make him confront himself and realize what an absurd accusation it was. And if it doesn't work and he continues to continue saying these horrible things to you, well, good luck, OP.
Yeah.
Holy, that's coming from a psychologist. Like, it doesn't get any much clearer than that.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
Dude's a douchebag on top of it.
Yeah, we're talking like this dude is an asshole. OP, you're not the asshole. I wish you luck
With the baby.
with the baby. I hope everything goes well.
And good luck with your divorce, because it sounds like you might need
That's where it's looking like it's headed.
it. Yeah.
I hope that is not the case.
I hope it doesn't, but
I hope that is not the case. However, yeah, about that.
Yeah.
Anyways, so with that being said, I think we can go ahead and call it.
Yarp.
So, thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. If you are listening to us on Spotify and you want to show Spotify, hey, we like this show, we want to hear more, hit the download button.
Do it.
It helps us out, and once again, let Spotify know we like what we're hearing. We want to hear more of this. If you would like to donate, you can. The donation link is in the description of the episode.
You don't have to.
We're not asking you to, but if you would like to, the option is there. I
think I figured out what I want to do with that money, like for this year, if we get donations.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll talk about that later. But as always, thank you so much for listening to Chaotic Minds. We really do appreciate you. As always, don't forget to love each other, and
don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick like the last guy. Okay,
yeah.
bye.
Bye.